So this is the new Eclipse 3. It's been out about 10 days now. I've run it a couple of times and both times it's been really good straight out of the box. Still not played around with all the sort of settings on it that this has got and the old one hasn't. But I say first impressions, it's sort of a little bit of a step up on the E2. So what's different? Visually, the main thing is obviously the top chassis here has been made a lot lower to reduce obviously centre of gravity. You can see it on that car and on that one, so significantly lower. Previously we had you could run the holes in different positions, the screws in different positions, the posts in different positions to adjust the sort of the chassis flex. I think most of us ended up with the screws in the front, but if you move them there, it would give the chassis a bit more flex, a bit more steering. I don't think I've never seen anybody run with all the posts in, but I'm sure somebody has if it was really high grip. So with the new car, you've got so it's gone from maybe 2 options to 4. You can actually run it without this these side links sort of completely off, and then you've got, so that's for the lowest grip. This is the second lowest with the screws at the front missing, and then you put those back in and then you take these ones out for the next level, and then you have all the screws in. I've run it with those missing and those missing, and that was certainly really good at club when the grip was a bit higher. That worked well as well. All these features are in the manual if you want to look at racing cars.com. Battery position now, you've got a little battery stop and one on the back as well. You can't see that so well because I've actually removed it, but that's where these you can move it backwards and forwards to both of them, so the battery's nice and snug in. So you've got all the way back and all the way forward. It's probably going to move it about 1 centimetre in total. The battery can now be taken in and out without taking the centre damper tube off, which is just a nice handy feature because I think, well, I know myself and a few of my friends have both gone out on track and realised why the car wasn't working so well is because they forgot to attach the centre damper. The O-rings that hold the battery in, it's just a little bit thicker, or however, I think the old one does still work, but this one's just a little bit thicker. So we've got side links on the chassis now, on there. You've got these little brass inserts which go into the carbon. You sort of pull them through in the carbon instead of having the little nut on top. There's a few of those on the car. The way that the beam goes onto the kingpin is slightly different. Before there was a countersunk screw and that would sort of centre it. Now you actually push the camber camber thing onto it, so it's a little bit more accurate, a little bit more precise. I think I've covered most of the bits and bobs there. Setup wise, we're actually running very similar. So still red dot on the rear, black sides, white front, and the same loops, 12k on the kingpins, 12k in the side, and 40 in the middle. Obviously people have their own sort of base setting, but that's the base setting I had on this car is the same as the base setting I had on with this new one. The bumper's new as well on the front. We were running it, as you can see, this is a modified, that's not actually the kit bumper. So this allows you to not have to have little these little clips, so you can run it straight onto that. It just helps protect the chassis a little bit better because it's actually moved away on that. It's a bit nice, a bit much, so it moves away a little bit. So on the new car, it's actually been designed like that. So again, a little bit better protection. This bumper material feels really good. Had a couple of little marks, you see, but I've done about 10 runs in it so far, and you know, I've hit the barrier a few times, so it's looking like that's going to last quite nicely. I've just used these foam washers that we put inside the body shelves to stop it sort of rattling, but with a little pin there just to stop the bumper from moving up and down. Trevor Colt showed me that, and I thought that was quite a good idea. So yeah, I think that's it with the car. I think the shock sits a little bit further forward. This seems to, just look at the two cars. So the shock is a little bit further forward on that. Probably a little bit steeper angle as well. So all these little, I mean, I'm not an expert with the geometry changes, but it all seems to work well. The front end, the kingpins are new, and the hubs are new. The hubs look very similar, but they're just a different colour. So these ones are obviously bronzy coppery colour, and these ones are obviously black, which makes it obviously faster to start with. The kingpins are actually different. They've got a few more holes in them. Again, if you look at the manual, you'll be able to see it. And the manual's instructing you to sort of pour the kingpin loom actually down the top of the kingpin. I've not been doing that. I've just been doing it normally. I think it just might be get a bit gloopy inside. But the idea, I think, is it sort of oozes out and keeps it nice and free. Maybe if you don't want to keep on having to do it, but I'll just keep on cleaning it after each meeting and doing it. But the new kingpins and the hubs, they are noticeably freer. I've not had to polish them, where I had to polish the internal of this hub and the kingpin to get the suspension nice and loose or free at the front. With this one, I've not done any of that, and I think it's got some sort of ceramic coating on it, so I don't want to be starting to polish off that. So, but I'm quite happy with it. I think it will bed in a little bit better as well. I've only run it twice, so I think it should be absolutely fine. So yeah, that's it. I'd highly recommend it. I definitely think it's a bit of a step up from the Eclipse. A little bit more tunable with those, especially if you want to be running the spool, obviously, and high grip conditions with this low centre of gravity. It should just make the car a little bit easier, more consistent to drive than the previous one, which is still a really good car. But this one, I think Schumacher done a really good job of ironing out all the, not issues with this, but the things you know when you want to see a car manufacturer, they want to see them evolve the car, and I think they've evolved the car with this one here. And so far, obviously, the results with Ollie Jeffries and Andy Murray, Lewis Parker, Nathaniel Goodban, they've been really going really well with it. So hopefully, in my hands, I'll do the same. All right, I'm going to wrap up here. I might do another sort of follow-up video, but again, most of the maintenance and everything is really similar. And again, the setup's really similar as well. So if anybody's got any questions, please ask, and I'll try and get back to you with some responses. And yeah, so that's it for today. Take care.